Marcy.
Sufi poet Rumi wrote this inspiring poem to remind us who we are in truth. Sufi poet Rumi, who I love, wrote this inspiring poem to remind us who we are in truth. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. Please look at the screen on the front of your program and say the affirmation with me with power. It's on your program. I am on an upward spiral of success and happiness because I am doing what is mine to do, trusting Spirit to do its part, and grounding myself in the truth that I am the beloved of the beloved.
This entire month, I have been focusing on a quote that inspired me. It's by Meister Eckhart. And it is very simple. It just says that awe is the beginning of wisdom. And so I've invited all of us to step into this field of all awe and wonder, realizing that as we do, we align with universal wisdom because we're raising our vibrations, we're expanding ourselves into looking beyond our limited lives and out into the cosmos and beyond. As we look at the beautiful landscapes around us, that's one level. But then when we contemplate the cosmos and its magnificence and its diversity and the birth of new stars and galaxies and planets, as we expand beyond that and even realize that there are universes now, they're telling us beyond this universe, which is ever expanding, and just imagine more and more universes, and then realizing that there are multi-dimensions. There's the dimension that our sights take in, and then there are other dimensions. And so contemplating these amazing things cultivates this sense of awe and wonder. Awe and wonder, the perfect birthplace for wisdom to take place. And that wisdom is the awareness of who we are in truth as well, because remember, everything is a reflection of the one. So that magnificence, that diversity, that eternity, that infinite nature, that beauty, that grace, that love, that peace, the harmony, the order, all of that is a reflection of the one. And therefore, we must be of that one. We must be. And so all of that I just described means that we are a reflection of that presence as well. And so all we need do is just look at what humanity continues to create in terms of inventions and artwork, and it's just so many different things. And that beautiful creativity dwells in us, the potentiality, the possibility of it all. So now, from that vantage point, are you ready to unleash more of that potential?
Yes.
Are you ready to allow that to bubble up within you as creativity and vitality and strength and beauty and all of the good things that you are?
Yes.
Are you ready to allow that calling of your heart, which we know is a calling of the infinite itself, for your particular part that you play in this beautiful tapestry of life, are you ready to heed the call?
Yes.
All right. Well, good. Well, then, so then let's continue to move forward with this whole theme this month, which is all about engaging, embracing this beautiful thing called life and living the extraordinary life that we are meant to live. And keep in mind, when I'm talking about extraordinary, I'm talking about the quality of your life, the quality that you're living more from that place of love and peace and joy, awe and wonder, because when you do that, then amazing things just continue to happen all around you. So it's not about making things happen, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more in a few moments. So let me get my place because I want to make sure I stay on point here. All right, so the first 2 weeks this month we dedicated to building this awe and enthusiasm of the extraordinary nature of life and of our own lives. And last week we spent time releasing what was standing in the way of our expressing who we really are by making peace with our past. We learned that we can reframe the past and look at it from a higher perspective and therefore change how we feel and allow the divinity that we are to make its way into expression, to reveal what's already there. So we talked about spiritual growth in many ways is 100% about peeling away the layers of thinking and belief that do not serve us, that are not in alignment with this higher truth. So today is about looking more carefully at what is ours to do and then what is up to the universe. So, to begin this discussion, who remembers the first time that you heard about your divine nature, how amazing it is, about the power of your word, that creativity? Who remembers the first moment you began to hear about all of that? Raise your hands. Okay. Okay, some are sure and some not so sure. Okay, so do you remember the excitement that you felt when you discovered this amazing potential that resides within you? Yeah? Okay. So we learned then that we can rely 100% on the principle of life itself, that there is a law of cause and effect, that our word is power, and that everything that we need can be provided through the awareness of how this universal law works. And we learn that it is not some power or a great power, as Ernest Holmes says, it is all power, all power. And then we learn that applying this principle means that we must decide, we make a decision on what we want, and then open to a higher vision of that by going within and then feeling it, knowing it, and acting as though it were true. That the acting is as if. And yet, as we go along the path, how many of us have become discouraged when things aren't showing up as we intended? So I want to acknowledge that because many of us have been practicing this for a long time, and sometimes it seems like things just aren't showing up the way we had intended. So that's what today is really all about, is getting very clear on what are the missing pieces that we might have, because I have a couple of different ideas. The first one I want to mention is this, and this is from Mike Dooley, who writes these little cute messages from the universe, right? He said, "We must open ourselves to the universe's magic by going out into the world so that our manifestation can reach us, so that little serendipities, coincidence, and happy accidents can fall onto our path that wouldn't have otherwise if we had sat home waiting for a breakthrough." So this is all about action. This is all about getting out there and putting yourself in a position to allow these serendipities and coincidences to take place. So the question is are we sometimes like the man who prayed to win the lottery and didn't buy the ticket? We laugh, however, sometimes it can be that way. So today then is about action. It's about action. And another way that Mike Dooley rephrased this is he said, it's true the early bird gets the worm and so does the late bird and the bird in between, because by design there are always more than enough worms. In fact, the only bird that doesn't get a worm is the bird that doesn't go out and get one. So there's just another sign the universe. So So we're all going to go out and get our worms today, right? So action. Let's take a look at this thing called action, because there's action that is ours to do, and then there is action that belongs to the universe or God or source or whatever you want to call this presence. This is a divine partnership. And so let's do a little review. This is from last summer. Some of you may remember this when we were doing Mae McCarthy's work. So what is our job? Our job is to decide what we want, to align with it by constructive thinking, and now we've learned about contemplating the universe and keeping ourselves in a place of awe. Alignment, being grateful in advance for what it is that we decide. I'm so happy and grateful now that, we've been practicing that. And then to act on guidance along the way. So there's the action part. What's God's job? Everything else. Creating and clearing the path, bringing opportunities, resources, and people to support the good you've defined, and providing guidance one step at a time. So what I've done is I have a kind of a combination of some work by Mike Dooley, but also some Abraham Hicks work. And some of you who've been involved in the Abraham Hicks work know that there's something called the placemat method, right? Where they got out a placemat and put a line down the center, and then this is what is mine to do, and this is what is the universe's to do. So you have a handout in your program that's either pink or green. Mine happens to be green. And so I set it up ahead of time to kind of save us some time. Anybody need one? Raise your hand. Anybody did not get? Oh my goodness, a lot of people did not get them. So there are extras. There should have been 40. So there were extras of these that maybe didn't get into the programs that are out and around.
They're coming.
Anybody want a pen? And one for Dwayne. Anybody have an extra one? Okay. And Deb and Robert, you didn't get one? Oh, okay. Okay. And I just reminded you what your job is. What you want is at the top, and what the pieces of your job are. And then then I put all the things that these are actually from Mike Dooley. The things that are all Spirit's job. And rather than me read all of them, I'm going to allow you to look at that on your own. So on the left side then, in addition to this part that's my job, I invite you to think of all the things that you could do for the realization of your dream, physically, logically, emotionally, and spiritually. The task is to list at least 20 things that will open the channels of guidance. Some you may never do, but the idea is to get the juices flowing. In a note from the universe, Mike Dooley writes, great big dreams require big thoughts and lots of tiny steps. So each little action that you take are the tiny steps toward the great big dream. So here are some examples. If you choose to change or improve your vocation, start or continue refining your education, obtain licenses, certifications, websites, business cards, create a business plan, actively seek new partners, investors, or customers, ask mentors for help, read books on success stories of those who've gone before you. You know, there are just many different ideas that could come up in the process. And I'm not asking you to do that now. This is something I'm going to invite you to do this week. But the main thing is list at least 20. If you don't know what you want, then list ways to become a master at what you're already doing. So you can even do that. So now let's move to the right side. What the universe can do for you. So this is all of the possible miracles, serendipities, happy accidents that you might experience, all of which would help you realize your dreams. The key, though, is to remember that you are in partnership with the universe, because the universe is ready, willing, and able to support you, to assist you in realizing your dreams. In fact, Abe Lincoln said, without divine assistance, I cannot succeed. With it, I cannot fail. So your part then is to accept divine assistance. But you may be saying to yourself, but you know, I thought that I was just supposed to come up with what I want, you know, that rocket of desire that Abraham Hicks talks about. And then the law is supposed to take care of the rest. Otherwise, you know, I'm supposed to let the law come up with the how. Well, that doesn't mean that you don't take any action. But we're talking about inspired action. So action that feels, you can feel whether something is a good idea or not, and to move forward. But even more so, the way to get beyond what Mike Dooley calls the cursed hows, you know, when we try to figure out how it's going to happen, they become the cursed hows. But the difference between that and taking action is really our viewpoint or our perspective. So if I think that if I put my focus totally on the left-hand side, what I'm supposed to do to make it happen, and along with that, there's a lot of stress and struggle and strain and doubt and fear and worry, then I'm involved in the cursed how. I'm involved in the cursed how. However, if I realize that there's a partnership, that I do my part and the universe does its part, and it's kind of like, you know, we have baseball right now, right? It's kind of like when you make a pitch to the universe with your action, and the universe hits the home run. The universal law hits the home run. Those are all of the serendipities, the synchronistic events, all of those things that show up to support the manifestation of this dream that you have. It's also realizing that spirit, the universe, God, works through you and as you, as divine guidance, as little hints and little nudges to move forward this way or that way. And so our spiritual practice is so important in this. One of the things that can happen when we get going on our dream is we think we don't have time to do spiritual practice. Anybody notice that? And that is the very time to do spiritual practice, because we want to work in partnership with the universe, not on our own. How many of you have noticed that if you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and don't take the time to do that, that sometimes you feel like you're going around in circles and you're not accomplishing what you need to accomplish? That is a signal right there that you're getting out of alignment. Remember, it's all about alignment. We stay in alignment with our spiritual practice. It's so very important. And when we keep in mind that I am in partnership with the divine, it takes that heavy burden off. It allows us just to be present in the moment, to listen, to move forward as we're guided. and to enjoy life because we know that everything's unfolding in divine timing. You know, there's actually a French word that is a good reminder for how the universe works. It's called denouement. It's denouement. And this is what it means. It means that sometimes it seems like the way divine timing, this is about divine timing, works, is that right in the last hour, in the 11th hour, that the manifestation comes into expression. It can seem that way sometimes. But here's what I am knowing from what I know about the universal law and divine inspiration and how it all works, is that the more that we remember that we're in partnership with the divine, the more we relax, the more patient we are, the more we allow the universe to assist us because we're not all tensed up and cutting off the flow. You know, when we're tensed up, it's hard to hear the guidance. It's hard to, it's hard to actually sometimes see opportunities that are around us. But as we relax, as we live in a state of awe and wonder, all we need to do is look around and we begin to see those little synchronicities and those opportunities and those perfect connections with other people. And it all just begins to flow. Divine partnership. That's what it's all about. Divine partnership. We no longer need go it alone.
That's what meditation is all about.
Right, exactly. All right, so the challenge this week then is very simple. Fill out this particular form or some form of it on at least one area of your life. And then this is the critical part. You know, you do your part, and you completely and totally release to the divine's part. And practice patience, trust, and relaxation. And my guarantee to you is that this is how the universal law works, that you truly are going to open yourself to an extraordinary life. And so for this I give my thanks and namaste, and so it is. I stand at the ocean